guys, it's Shelby, otherwise known as Shelbizleee here on YouTube, and today I wanted to make a follow-up video to my last video that was about what things you need to declutter before the year 2018 and before the new year gets here. A lot of you guys had questions about where to take things after you declutter, and some of you guys felt that I didn't give enough information about where you can take things to donate them or to be reused or at least to be disposed of properly. So I wanted to address that in a separate video, and a lot of you guys thought that would be a good idea. So here we are. I actually took to a really new feature, at least it's new to me, called the community tab here on YouTube. So if you go to my channel, there's a little section called community, and basically allows me to post to you guys like little snippets or memes or just questions when I have them, and get your feedback a lot easier than if you were following me on Twitter or Instagram, which you should be doing that too. But if you don't, make sure your notifications are on here, because I think those get sent out to people with their notifications on. I don't really know how it all works, but basically I know that I asked what you guys needed help with figuring out how to dispose of, recycle, or just dispose of in a proper way, and I'm going to cover the most requested ones in this video. So let's address the thing that I think people get rid of the most, and that is clothing. I think your closet is a great place to start when you're starting minimalism, or you just want to live a more simple life in general. Getting rid of clothes that you don't wear is a great way to free up your space. So obviously I always recommend keeping a minimalist wardrobe, but I think a lot of people don't know where to take their clothes when they're donating things. So there are a couple obvious ones, right? Like you can sell things that have a resale value on them. So I like to sell things on Poshmark, eBay. You can also sell them on like Facebook pages. You can have a garage sale or something like that. That's the way you can make back some money from them. But if you don't feel like going through the hassle of making back the few dollars that it's worth, you can always donate it to a thrift store or a secondhand store or a shelter. Those are all the really obvious ones, right? But a lot of people were asking about what to do with clothes that are no longer wearable, and so that's something I wanted to address with you guys. I'll be leaving links to all the things I talk about in the description box so you guys can go and find them, and I hope that I'm clear enough on all of these because I'm not an expert. I just did some research for you guys so that I could tell you, and all the information would be compiled for you. So some places to take clothing that is unwearable and unusable is the ASPCA or your local animal pet shelter. A lot of them repurpose things to make them into like bedding for the animals, and they'll just put them down so that they don't have to lay on the concrete floors. It'll help keep them warm and help keep them more comfortable. So it's a great place to look if you have a local shelter in your area. There's another program called SMART, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it stands for. I know that the R and T is recycling textiles. So it's basically a program that they put together, and a lot of your thrift stores, like not local ones so much, but like main thrift stores have this program. So Goodwill, Savers, Salvation Armies, things like that are aligned with this program called SMART, where you can bag up textiles and like clothing that's no longer wearable and write SMART on the outside of it or textile on the outside of the bag and give it to Goodwill or Savers or wherever is close to you, and they will give it to the program that can recycle those and turn them into more usable things. I heard that a lot of times they turn it into like carpet padding, the stuff that goes underneath your carpet, so that's a great way to get rid of items that you can no longer wear and are not donatable to be worn. I'll also link below the SMART program, and you can type in your address or your zip code and see what stores in your area accept those materials, because maybe your regular local thrift shop does as well and you don't have to go to Salvation Army or Goodwill, because some people have concerns about them. They've had some questionable business practices. People ask me all the time why I shop at Salvation Army and Goodwill, and it's because I want to support practices like that, and I find that they often have a lot better things than my local thrift stores. I shop at both, but Goodwill is the reason I got my first job ever, and as far as Salvation Army goes, I think that they have the freedom to do as they please and as their religion tells them. It's not my place to judge them, so I mean, that's just my opinion on it. But the smaller business you can support, the better, so do check out the resources in the description. Couple other options for unwearable clothing is the Patagonia Recycling Textiles program. So this is going to require you to have to ship in those textiles, but this might be worth it if you have something like socks or underwear or something that you don't know how to get rid of because it's unusable, otherwise it's not resellable. Patagonia will take those back and make into things like I said, the carpet padding, and they can repurpose it for other things as well. And a couple other things, you can also cut up cotton and compost it. I don't know if you knew that, But if you're buying completely cotton clothing, it is compostable because it's a natural material. Another reason to not buy synthetic clothing anymore, guys. But that's an option, and if you want to turn something that is a synthetic back into something more useful, useful. I found a blog post for 15 uses to turn your unusable clothing into other items, so I'm going to leave that in the description for you guys as well. Last option, and one that's going to be applicable to almost everything we're going to talk about, is Craigslist and Facebook. I've gotten rid of so many things on Craigslist, free page, and the free pages, and even for sale pages on Facebook. You can just post it as scrap fabric, and there are people out there who need that stuff to make whatever crafts they're working on. If you don't feel like getting crafty, the least you can do is give to someone else who will. So always try to post it on Facebook and Craigslist before you just toss it. Other things you guys had a lot of questions about are electronics and or cords and stuff like that. So this is going to be anything like a camera, a laptop, a phone, things like that. There are a few places to start. Of course, there are never just like one answer is the answer for everyone, but these are all the places I suggest you check. So the first place to think about is eBay. I always think that if we can get money back for something, that's really good for you and I, but the other part of that is you're going to sell it to someone who you know will reuse it. Giving it to someone who you know will reuse it is better than just like tossing it aside and hoping someone recycles it for you, or hoping someone repurchases it at a thrift store. Selling it to someone assures that they will reuse that product. Or the best bet you're going to get is giving it to someone who paid money for it because they wanted to repurpose it. This applies to your electronics that are still working and you want to get money back for, and it can also apply to your broken iPhone that's completely destroyed. People will buy them for parts and they will reuse it to repair things, so I think that's a really good option and a great place to start. Another website that does something similar is Amazon, and I'll have this resource linked below as well. But Amazon has a buyback program for your working and non-working electronics. You can give it back to them and they will give you an Amazon gift card to go towards your purchase of your next electronic. So check that resource out as well. Last thing that you can get money for, I think, well, there's a couple other things, but the other thing you can still get money back for is something I saw at Walmart the other day. It's called an Eco ATM, which is basically you can just put your appliance into this ATM. It will calculate the cost of what it will give you back for it, and then you get the cash right then and there. They also had this at the mall back in my college town, and I think they're becoming more and more common, so I'll leave a link to the Eco ATM in the description box so maybe you can find the closest one to you. Other places are places like Best Buy, Staples, Office Depot. Those places take back a lot of these things, so maybe that's the most accessible thing to you. You can just go to Best Buy and drop off your electronics that no longer work, and they have recycling programs, as well as the place where you may have bought it from. Like if we're talking about an iPhone, Apple will very often, I think actually always, take back old broken iPhones and they will repurpose them or recycle them properly. At least they say they do. And those are some great resources for smaller electronics. Now if we're going to start talking about appliances, there are other services that will come and pick up your appliances so that they can recycle it, repurpose it, sell it for scraps, etc. But it's going to be a really great option. So I found a website. The website was called recyclingappliances.com, and basically you can just go on there, find the appliance that you're wanting to get rid of, choose it, and then they will have someone come pick it up for you and get rid of it. So it's a great option and a really awesome resource that I recently found. I don't really get rid of stuff that often because I try to buy things in the best quality possible so that I don't have to get rid of them, and that is also what I recommend you guys do. But my mom recently got rid of a freezer, and instead of even like posting it on Craigslist as works semi, because it wasn't working completely but it still kind of worked, posting it on Craigslist as that for parts, putting it out on the street side so someone could come pick it up, etc., or using this recyclingappliances.com, a lot of times they'll come and get things for free. She threw it away, which just makes me cringe so much. There are so many options you guys can do before you just throw something into the landfill. It's really irresponsible, honestly. It makes me angry. If there's something that I could get angry about, it's people who just won't take the extra minimal step to just make sure they're not throwing things in landfill that are usable, and just, oh, it's so frustrating. Okay. Composure, Shelby, composure. But yes, recyclingappliances.com is a great resource. Earth 911 also has some great resources, and I'll be linking them below for multiple things. But there are places also near you who will accept appliances like the recyclingappliances.com will. Maybe it's just your local Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever it may be. But there are places in your area most likely that will recycle those things. And I'll leave a resource where you can go type in your zip code, and it has a database of places near you where you can take those appliances. Okay, Other smaller things that are kind of related to electronics are light bulbs and batteries. I find that those two things are often recycled at the same place, and one of the places I found to be most common probably in a lot of people's areas is a place called Battery and Bulbs. They recycle light bulbs and batteries. You can just bring it back to them and they are the recycler for those items. As well as, I will leave a resource in the description box for Earth 911. They have a great database where you can just go to the website, type in what you're looking to recycle and your zip code, and it'll pull up places in your area that recycle those items. So that's going to be an awesome resource for you guys no matter what you're recycling really. But I will leave separate links under each description in the description box for light bulbs, and it'll be the pre-selected like light bulbs, and then you just go and type in your zip code. It's really useful for everyone. Everyone can go type in their zip code and find the closest recycling facility for those things to you. Also, on the topic of batteries and light bulbs, make sure you're buying the ones that last longer. For batteries, buy a rechargeable battery set. They are a little bit more upfront, of course, but they're gonna last you a lot longer and save you money in the long run. I just gave Madison's mom a camera for Christmas, and it takes AA batteries. So along with that present, I bought her a reusable or a rechargeable battery pack so that she doesn't go out and keep buying batteries. So do that with most of the people in your life as well. If you're giving batteries, try to give rechargeable ones. And light bulbs as well, there are some that last longer than others. Make sure you're doing your research to find out what light bulbs are best to put in your home and that will last the longest. A few other things that you guys asked about is furniture, both furniture that is resellable and ones that are too broken down to be used again. So obviously there's thrift stores for that. That's a great option if you just want to take it down the street, give it to someone, let a charity shop resell it. That's a great option. You can also usually, maybe not everyone, but where I live, you can just put it out on the street and within the day it will be gone. Someone will come by, see it, and want to reuse it. So that's a good option, and we've done that plenty of times. Never underestimate that. Aside from that, there's Habitat for Humanity. If there's one in your area, you can donate your furniture to them. They always give it to people in need and people who actually use it, so that's a great way to guarantee that your resources will be repurposed correctly. I didn't really find very many resources for how you can recycle old furniture that is not usable. I think curbside is still a good opportunity to put those things out there because there are people whose profession is to go around and like junk pick. When I was doing dumpster diving and we started getting into like bulk pickup, that's a thing that a lot of people go around and do to make money. So never underestimate that. That's always a good like first attempt, is putting it out on the curb. Mostly what I found for broken furniture though is upcycling projects. I wasn't able to find very many people who take broken furniture and are able to repurpose it because that's really like a person-on-person basis. So this is a great time again to turn to the free section of Craigslist, because people who are looking for just broken down furniture and stuff like that will be looking on there to get scraps, and hopefully you can find someone who can recycle it for you. Mattress disposal. Now this is a really important one that a lot of you guys asked about, and I don't know how eco-friendly recycling mattresses is. I don't know exactly what they do, but there is a website called mattressdisposal.com, and they were able to come and pick up your mattress and get rid of it. Whether they dispose of it correctly and they repurpose it, I'm not sure. I know that my city has a program where you can go and they will come pick it up and they will repurpose it for other things, tear it up and turn it into like couches for, I don't know, other people, or give it to like a pet shelter and stuff like that where they can repurpose it. There are programs in your area, I'm sure. If you Google mattress disposal with your city behind it, I found a lot of resources that way for me, so maybe you guys can try that for your nearest city as well and see what results come up. But mattressdisposal.com will come and take care of it for you if you're interested in that. Okay, so a lot of people were asking about used cosmetics, unused cosmetics, etc. The first place to start again is wherever you think it's most likely to be reused. So a lot of times I think that giving it to friends and family who would use it is a great place to start. If you want something to actually be reused and not just thrown away, that's a good place to start. Other than that, things that I have done in the past is when we moved from our old apartment to this apartment, I bundled up everything under my sink in my bathroom that I didn't want anymore, and I sold it for $10 for a bundle on Facebook, and someone came and picked it up, gave me 10 bucks for it, and that was it. There was a ton of stuff in there, like Lush stuff, Too Faced stuff, a lot of stuff, just stuff I didn't need, and I just wanted someone to reuse it. So that's an option if you have those Facebook pages in your city. Just list something for super affordable, even for free if you just want to get rid of it, and someone will probably take you up on it. In my area, the shelters really only take things that are new, not opened, as far as body care and like cosmetics goes. So if you have something that isn't opened, look into your most local women's shelter. That's a really good recommendation I have for you on that. There are also some bring back programs for empty containers and empty pallets, because a lot of you guys were asking for that as well. But I do plan to address those concerns in January, talking about how you can recycle pallets, makeup containers, taking them apart and disposing of them properly and stuff like that. So I'm going to save that bit of information for that video, so make sure you stay tuned, make sure your notifications are on, and make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button if you liked this video, you guys, and you found it valuable and it was helpful to you. The more engagement we get on a video like this, the more people it will reach, and hopefully the more people will start disposing of their things properly so they can be repurposed and reused. So leave a comment down below which one of these tips was most helpful, or if there's something I missed and you want me to address. Make sure your notifications are on, like I said, and you can follow me on Instagram, so when I talk about these things and update these things, when I learn more things, you can get that information as quickly as possible. And remember, until next time, create the peace.